Welcome back to Check Game. I'm here with your boy Alvin Williams.
I'm here with your boy Terrence A. Smith.
And this week in our sports show, we're going to be talking about Mike Tyson first knockout. We're going to be talking about the playoff run. And we're going to start off talking about this All-Star game this weekend. What you thought about that, Al?
You know what? I'm going to leave that up to you because I'll be honest with you because I've been traveling a little bit. I haven't really got a chance to sink my teeth in the All-Star weekend, but I'm interested to see your take on the new formats and everything, how it went.
Well, Keshad Johnson, he won the dunk contest, and he did some sick dunks. He's real athletic. Carter Bryant, he also did a really nice dunk. They were both impressive. What I think is missing in that space right there, though, Al, is the star power. Like, you used to watch it because Dr. J was going to be there. Michael Jordan was going. I'm not knocking Keshad or any of these guys that did, perform in there, but it seems like it's just don't have that same twist to it because it's not a superstar basketball player dunking the ball again. You know what I mean? So that was my take on watching it. And the guys did a phenomenal job dunking. It was cool, but it wasn't a superstar dunking. You know what I mean? If you can comment on that, what's your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with you when it comes down to the popularity. Growing up, the dunk contest was always the most popular, event. But you just look at the shift of the game. You look at the popularity of the shot, the three-point shot, the three-point competition has more bigger names in it. People really tune in to see that because that's such a big part of today's game. And I think it's more of a common part. If you a young kid or you somebody, everybody think they can go out there and shoot. But everybody can't get out there and do some of those athletic dunks that these guys are doing. But you're right. I think the star power has left it, and no discredit to the guys who are going out there and giving their all and showing their athleticism. But I think that's where it has been lacking in the past, man. But I like the fact that they have Vince Carter on the sideline. He's coaching some of the guys and he's analyzing the dunks and he's giving the viewers some insight on like just little intricacies of the bounce, the timing, the space, the distance of where you take off, and it'd be right on point, man. So it's good. I like that element of it. But I know you're gonna appreciate Johnson's his appearance, his dancing. He brought your boy E40 out there. I ain't recognize. I ain't know he was from Oakland, so he brought your boy E40 out there, jumped over him. But that was great showmanship.
Shout out to the Bay, man. I'm glad he won that. Now, you mentioned the three-point contest. I was excited about it as well as most people, the fans. And the shot is getting better. There was a lot of them that shot 24, 25 points. Like a lot of them was hitting. So it was crazy. It was nice to see. Damian Lillard won it. Booker had a chance. Booker had it in his hand, man. I was rooting for Booker out here in Phoenix. I was rooting for him, man. He missed 3 last threes, and it was crazy. But the three-point contest, it was really entertaining. So I got a lot of fun out of that. Did you catch any of that?
I didn't know. As I mentioned, I was out in Vegas, man. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I was out in Vegas, and I was having the time of my life. But I saw my boy Damian Lillard, and I'm a Damian Lillard fan, man. And it's just amazing. Again, it might be some controversy behind it. Damian Lillard hasn't played a game this year, coming off the Achilles injury, but for him to step in and get his rhythm. But what people don't realize, man, of course, and I've never been in a three-point contest, but there's a lot of pressure and things like that. Not that's going to have Damian Lillard shooken or anything, but when you just sitting around, I'm sure he's getting that rhythm, not being able to move around that much, but for a long time, he's probably just firing away. So if it suited him perfectly, but shout out to him winning I think it was his third three-point contest, man. So he has to go down. His name doesn't get mentioned a lot for one of the best shooters that we've ever seen. Of course, Steph Curry has that title, but when you talk about one of the best shooters in NBA history, Damian Lillard has to go into that conversation. Logo Dame, he's one of those guys that can shoot from distance, and he's very consistent, and he's winning these three-point contests. So shout out to Damian Lillard, man. Keep doing your thing, and others continue with your rehab and speedy recovery.
Yeah, shout out to Dame, another person from the Bay. Town winning right now. Your boy Rick and Jalen participated in the skills challenge. It was nice to see them on TV and do their thing. And Cat, Allen Houston, Rick was the passer. You know what I mean? So that was pretty cool. And Rick was really passing to John too. Rick was really he was putting his work in. So it was good that they won that. Jalen and his pop took home an award with Allen Houston. That was pretty fun and cool to see. I don't know if you caught any of that activity, Al.
Well, I'm gonna reiterate what I said. I didn't see that, but I saw the clips, and they had it in sync. So you got your shooters, Allen Houston, man, he one of the best shooters that I've ever seen. We talk about the shooters, but Allen Houston shooting and that team that they put together and they won. So, like, again, I can't even really speak to it too much because my vision was blurred. Fats, my vision was blurred out in Vegas. So, shout out to the Knicks and shout out to the New York representatives.
Shout out to Vegas. And we wanted to talk. I don't know if you caught the game, but your boy
Oh no, didn't catch
Kawhi
that.
Leonard, Kawhi Leonard had 31 points in the third game, and which is a 12-minute game. Where for I think it was against the younger guys, so it was the older group against the younger guys, and he had 31 points in the quarter. So he looked at like cyborg Kawhi. That tonight he just couldn't miss, and it was impressive to see that. I don't think you got to see any of that because did you get to see it? Vegas had you?
Well, to my defense, I was flying from Vegas, so but I definitely want to. As soon as I get in the crib, my brother-in-law Rick tells me, he's like, "Yo, Kawhi Leonard, man, he had 31 points in 12 minutes." I said,
Mhm.
"Damn!" So, and he was an add-on. He was somebody that would, you talked about him before. He's supposed to be in that All-Star game from the rip, and just getting a chance to be back in L.A., his hometown, home team, and doing what he did, man. I'm excited to look at the replay of that game.
Well, it was pretty cool. Ant-Man got the MVP, and before the game started, his confidence and the way he was talking, it made me feel like he wanted to let this group know this be me right here, y'all. You know what I mean? So I'm glad in the last game he probably had the most points in the last game, but he was attacking like he was trying to he was putting his words out through his play. He was at him. He was shooting it in Durant face, LeBron face. He was just at him, and I like that, especially coming from the All Star space that the All Star game has been talked about. Oh, it's not. They don't compete. Ant Man was competing. Wemby was competing. They was competing out there, man. It was a pretty good game. I don't know. Hopefully, you get to check that out,
No,
man.
I'm gonna check it out because I want to see the format and just see, leading up to the game, there was a lot of talk. Saw Kevin Durant doing a press conference when one of the reporters asked him, do they think they're going to be playing hard? And he's like, why don't you ask the world team if Luca and Joker, those dudes, going to play hard? These dudes don't even care about the game, things like that. So I'm definitely looking to see the format. I know the players are probably going to do what the players are going to do, but I want to see the format and how it looked and how it was received. But also, man, shout out to Ant Man. He's somebody, as we know, he going right at you. He don't have no picks. He's one of these
Mhm.
guys that he's already submitted his name from being somebody that's super talented and super aggressive and super confident. But now his next step is this what we're gonna
Mhm.
talk about. It's the second half of the season. After this All-Star break, these guys come in, you're making that playoff push. So that's gonna be his next phase, man. But he's continually doing what he's supposed to be doing and putting his stamp in his league as a player.
That's game time. Game time, Al. This is a segment where we talk a bit about something that's trending this week in sports. Now that the All Star game over, we're going to talk about the playoff push, and we can start in the East Coast. What's your thought with the higher upper teams and the lower teams? Who's going to be seated top and who's going to seed at the end?
Man, I mean, it's playing out. It's been real consistent. Detroit, they've been real consistent, man.
Hmm.
Really, really
Hmm.
playing high level basketball. West Coast, East Coast, we've seen them when their team has been depleted a bit. Guys come in, two-way players, and they've still won games because of their style. Their style of play, they're very physical. Um, they got a budding superstar in Cade Cunningham, Jalen
Hmm.
Duren, and they got some good role players, man. They had their little hiccup this past week when they got into the big altercation and fight against the Charlotte Hornets, who's another team that's coming up right
Hmm.
now. But I'm liking Detroit. I can't skip out on them. They've been number one for most of the season in the East. But I'm also impressed with Boston. They made the move at the trade deadline, getting Nikolai Vucevic,
Hmm.
and he's going to be a big body. He can stretch the floor. He's something that they need. Right now, he's just coming off the bench playing for them, but I'm sure he'll go into that start lineup at some point. But Boston, and you gotta give New York, and just going down there, you gotta give New York because I think they this is probably their time that they're gonna have to make a push and make a move because they've been right on that edge. You know what I mean, year after
Hmm.
year. So Jalen Brunson, hopefully they can pull it all together. But those three teams in that East, it's a division. It separates about one or two games, so at any time it could flip.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you just never know. And I got to. I'd be remiss if I don't shout out my Toronto Raptors.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
currently in the fifth. They're currently
Mm-hmm.
in fifth. They're playing a little up and down. They're beating teams that they're supposed to beat, but they're not winning the games that, the winning team. So you want to
Mm-hmm.
see them turn that around and start being in that piece. And then again, man, now we talk the bottom half and see who can creep into that play-in tournament. I'm looking at these Charlotte
Yeah,
Hornets, man.
definitely
Charlotte
want to see the
Hornets,
Hornets.
Con Knipple, and these guys, Lonzo Ball, his minutes are not as high as were, but he's playing much better basketball. Brandon Miller, they're really playing some good brand of basketball. So that's a team that I think on the East that can creep into that play-in game and make a little bit of noise.
I agree with you with all of that. I think I'm curious to see what the loaded Sixers may look like. You know what I mean? In the
True.
playoffs
Yeah.
too. So I'm curious to see what that could look like with a loaded Sixers and Tyrese playing the way he's playing. If you can get a healthy Embiid and Paul George for seven, or for 7 games, you never know who can win that. So I agree with you there. Out on the West Coast, OKC they at the top, and the Clippers at the bottom, which I didn't expect. What you got for the West Coast, man? What's your thoughts? You know what I mean?
Man, OKC still very impressive. They've been hurt.
Hmm.
Shea's hurt, Jalen Williams hurt. But similar to the Detroit Pistons, they have a style where it's kind of like plug and play. Now you can't plug in for your superstars, but other role players they come in there and they do a really good job. I'm interested to see what Jared McCain does coming from the Sixers. Traded there, another person that can make shots, that could play
Hmm.
a good style of basketball with a good team. So I think he could be another piece coming off of that bench that could help them still be explosive. But I'm still impressed with San Antonio, Wemby, and those guys. The guards are really playing at a high level, man. We talked about them all year, whether it's De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, you got Castle. I love Castle, man. He's really showing improvement. Last week he had a 40-point game, man, and you just look at him and his improvement and how he continues to put his mark on the game. But
Hmm.
again, Denver's another top team. I think they're third right now.
Hmm.
And then you look at one of those teams creeping in. It could be the Clippers. The Clippers, after a little bit, they start turning it around. Kawhi Leonard, as you mentioned, playing at that high level. And if they're one of those teams, although I wouldn't be scared of the Clippers, but when you're talking about a team that can creep in and make some noise because of you have somebody like Kawhi Leonard, and then see where Garland fits in. See if he is going to
Hmm.
fit into the mold after the trade of James Harden. So that's one of those things you got to watch out for. And I love the coach Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue to me is still one of the most underrated coaches. He can get things done on that coaching and that head coaching seat. So those are the teams that I'm really looking at.
I agree there. It's kind of cool to see Portland somehow in eighth space or
Yeah.
the ninth. It's cool for them to be there. The Phoenix Suns, they making some noise with my boy Villain Brooks. So the West Coast has got it going on. OKC, I think they're going to finish out the top. I'll be curious to see who finish out at the bottom with Portland and the Clippers being down there. So interesting to see what a healthy Golden State going to look like too. So it's just good to see this playoff race happening, and we definitely excited for the playoffs. That's game time. Facts. This week we passing the segment over the aisle. Let's go, Alvin. How was your week
Hey,
out there in Vegas, man?
hey, I had to scare my life. I
What
had to
happened out
scare
there,
my
man?
life out there. I'm sitting having dinner. This
Hmm.
dude gonna come up to me talking about, "Hey man, I've been looking for 25 years. You my daddy." I said, "Whoa, dog.
While you with
Stop
your
playing
wife?
with me, man." I with everybody. Doe, Zakia. I was like, "Hey, man, what you talking about?" He's like, "No, I'm just joking." So yeah, that was my experience in Vegas this
Out in
past weekend.
Vegas.
Yeah,
That's,
dog.
Vegas is dangerous and undefeated. That's facts, man. Thank you for sharing that. We talk about some shit that happened on this day in sports. This day in sports, man, your boy Iron Mike Tyson knocked out our guy Jesse Ferguson from Philly, man. What was significant, he knocked him out in the 6th round TKO. Ferguson, they want to come out the corner. They told him come on. They disqualified him. He didn't want to come out the corner. But Tyson was 19, 20 years old and later on that year became the youngest heavyweight world champion of the world. What's your thoughts, man?
They end up beating Burbick. That's what I was thinking.
Hmm.
Later on that year to become the youngest heavyweight champion of the world, I think passing Muhammad Ali was
Hmm.
the youngest prior to that. But yeah, Tyson, man, we know the impact electrifying in that ring, man. You talking about Jesse Ferguson and want to come out the corner. I wouldn't have came out the locker room. I wouldn't have came out the locker room fighting Tyson. Tyson was a menace in that ring, man, and he was ferocious. But shout out to Mike Tyson and anybody who stepped in the ring with a young, hungry Mike Tyson back then. Shout out to anybody. You ain't gonna never say nobody was scared to do that. They did that.
Shout out to Jesse Ferguson for taking the fight, man.
Hey, Fast, this is a segment I love, man, near and dear, close to my heart, man. Giving a shout out to a former teammate of mine. And this week, I want to shout out to Stacey Augmon, man.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic man. I
Classic,
got a chance
man.
to play with my rookie year, man, in Portland. And he was another guy that would have side conversations with me, would help me how to play defense, which I became a much better defensive player watching him giving me tools on how to fight over screens. And of course, he was 6'8" and super mobile and had the length and everything like that, super athletic. But when I say a chill dude, came to practice, approached the games the same way. After the games, he was always the same way. And when I saw him after I finished playing in Portland, always still showed me love, man. And Stacey Augmon was somebody, man. The young guys who may not be familiar, get yourself familiar with Stacey Augmon. He was one of those ones, not just in the NBA, in college, UNLV, him, Larry Johnson, Greg Anthony, all these guys, man, George Ackles, Butler, Anderson Hunt, like that UNLV team with Tarkanian. Here we go, back in Vegas again. But Stacey Augmon was one of those dudes, man. Shout out to Stacey, man. I appreciate everything you've ever done. You told me, you helped me out, man. And Stacey gave me one of these sayings too about being a rookie. He said, yo, you just never know. You always got to be ready. You can start out in the outhouse and you can go to the penthouse and then you'd be right back in the outhouse and nobody ever telling you. So he used to always keep things like that to me, man. Keep stable, keep motivated, and keep doing your thing, man. So thanks a lot, Stace, man. Shout out to you, man. Much love to you, OG.
Shout out to Stacey Augmon.